I've been doing a meeting with my team today, and we kind of ran over a little bit, so my apologies. Thank you for being on the call early. I'm a little tardy, so my apologies, and thank you for being here for our call. Looking forward to sharing this this session with you, and I just want to check to see who's on the call and just make sure that you know how to use the system. So if this is your first time on the calls and you've only been watching the replays, then you may not be used to the Zoom just yet. So have a look at the bottom of your screen, and you'll see that there's a few little options that you can click on, one of them being a Q&A. And if you click on Q&A for me, like I've done, you can just quickly pop in there and just make sure that you know it is, and just let me know that you know it is, just by putting something in there saying, yeah, I've got it, I'm ready, and we can get going. Great, ready, perfect, good. Hello, excellent, great. We've got everyone in there, and it looks like it's going to be a session that we're going to be as interactive as possible with as usual. So if you are keen to be part of that, do you want to just let me know if there's something that you'd like to share on there, and you'd like to be live with me, because there's an opportunity to do that, and potentially if you have a website or a funnel or something like that that you'd love to look at, and have me kind of give you a little bit of feedback on that, and I'm welcoming you to do that. Just let me know now, or let me know as we get close to that time, and all I have to do is just promote you, and that'll put you up on the panel with me. So just let me know as we go through that, if you'd like to do that. Great. So let's get started with our session today. And again, welcome to everybody on the call. It's really great to have you here, and really great to to be working on this third part of the Goosebump Marketing, which is essentially we've looked at some languaging, and we said, okay, what can we do to adjust the way that we utilize our own language? As a good friend of mine says, everything is in our spelling. We create spells from our spelling. We create our magic from the words that we use, and those words resonate at different levels and attract people in certain ways. And some words also do the opposite of that. So we can utilize them in different ways. We then went on to go, okay, well, what's some of the ways of being able to connect with our market? And we spoke quite a bit about email on our last call. What kind of ways can we utilize something like an email and a list of people that we can then communicate with in a way that really supports this connection that we create, this nurture that we have, and the way that we invite people in. And what I want to do today is really talk about, well, how do we go right to the beginning of that, and how do we actually find those people and have them enrolled in either coming onto our list, or coming into our programs and registering, or whatever it might be. I'm going to talk about some structure and some copy structure around that, and I'm going to give you some examples. And of course, in those examples will be a lot of the learning. And as much as everything that I've been talking about over the last few weeks, where I talk about certain strategies and tactics and some principles, these again are all just guidelines, and nothing's to be overused in any one way. It's all to be used as and when it's most appropriate. So today is all about that as well. So all about being most appropriate. Okay, so I'm going to start this up over here. Give me a second. Share my screen. And there it is. So, all right. Also, what you'll notice today is that I have a couple of banners behind me, and so I'll tell you about those in a moment. But just want to make sure, can you guys see my presentation screen right now? And I'm going to just turn that on to full screen now. So that should be the entire presentation in full screen. Can you just let me know if you can? Yes, great, thank you. Perfect, all right, good. All right, so the banners behind me here, I want to show you a little bit about who we are. And this is especially for those of you who don't know a lot about Results Platform. I'm going to move my camera over here, and Results Platform over here, we have this banner over here which says Promote Positive Change. And this is all around the game that we're up for, and the people that we love to work with, and the people that we love to represent as clients and customers of ours, and of course the people we love to have through our coaching and mentoring and training program, who's, it's really focused on people who are change makers, who are creating a positive change on the planet. So that's who we look to work with. That's who we look to have sort of come through us, and we get really quite detailed in that when it comes to the kind of done for you services that we may do for certain clients, and we only have a handful of clients that we represent at any time during a year. So when it comes to that, we get really clear on that, and I would suggest that you do that as well with your business. You get really, really clear on exactly who your client is, exactly what is the game that you'd love to play, exactly the kind of people that you like to represent. What would they look like? What kind of business would they have? What kind of services and products would they be delivering? And what kind of impact would they be having? Get really clear on it, define that. Over here is, you can't really see a lot of that. That's our Campaign Mastery Academy program that we started a couple of years ago. And there's a bunch of people on there who are some of the people who have done it. We've had hundreds of people come through there, and essentially what we've got there is a product and a program that's all around really getting clear on how do we actually, as people who are building a business, how do I actually turn this value that I have, this product, this service, into new clients coming in and actually working with me, where I can actually make the impact that I'm really looking to make. So that's the Campaign Mastery Academy program, and I run that off the back of other programs. So one of them that I've been doing that off the back of is a program called iLab, and essentially helping people who have come through a business mentoring style program, and then getting really into the detail of actually rolling out one campaign that actually makes them a profit and builds that business through that campaign, and has them then roll that out on multiple occasions, and have that now part of what would then be a system that they could continue to do. So that's one of the other things that we do through our business. And later in this presentation, I'm going to talk about some of the real powerful strategies that we've been able to really work out, which have had such a huge impact for the clients that we represent, and are highly successful when rolled out in a specific way. So I'm looking forward to sharing that, and I'm going to share some of those with you today, as well as we look at various sites. So let's get into the first part of this, and I'm going to do a very small bit of education on this, and then I'm going to really go through some examples with you so you can actually see exactly what that could look like for you. All right. And just so you know, I've got my entire team here today, so if you hear things happening, I'm actually right in the middle of our office over here, so I have my team moving around as well, and that means that there's a little bit more activity happening than usual in these presentations. So let me do this. I'm going to keep it as quiet as possible. I'm going to get because I've got some team outside as well. We can chat. Okay, so let's go on to the first one. I want to talk about the structure of any copy when it comes to building a page that that might be something that you would be a landing page, a squeeze page, an opt-in page, a webinar registration page, or something like that. If you were to build something like that, what would be a great way of doing that to get somebody to be enrolled to actually go through all that and then have a perfect would then want to then either click or register or something like that to your page. Let's get a sense of who here currently has an online style funnel that you built, which is either a page, a landing page, it could be a free gift that you're giving away, it could be a product that you're trying to sell off the page. Who here has that? Can you just pop that into the Q&A if you already have that, or if you don't, just say not yet. Let's see who's got those. No, but we'd like to, yeah. All right, you've got one, but you're going to take us, yeah, okay. All right, still looking to pull it, good, great, okay, cool. And all right, you have a landing page as well, great, perfect, okay. Who here thinks, like, for those of you who've tried this, just let me know. And I get that we've got one of us who haven't got any takers yet. Who has been successful at that? So if you can even just raise your hand. If there's a little raise your hand thing over there as well. Just raise your hand. Who's had success in being able to do that? Actually, quite successfully. In other words, lost a number of different people enrolling, at a conversion rate that was a number that you felt was a success. Nobody just yet. I must see me. All right, and the reason why I asked that question is because I don't often get many hands go up when it comes to people actually getting this part right. Now, this is a part that I've been able to work on over time and over years that we've been able to do very well. So as much as I talk about copy and nurturing and connection, all that type of thing, something that we've done really, really well is being able to create landing pages and campaigns that get a really high opt-in rate and a high registration rate. I'm talking like somewhere between 30 and 50% registration and opt-in rates. If you think 30 to 50% opt-in is something that you'd like to have, just raise your hand and say, yeah, that's something I'd like to work out how to do for myself. If you know, yeah, perfect, great, thank you. Cool. All right, yep, good. Fabulous. Well, that's my intention from this one today, is to kind of give you, number one, some structure that's going to help you actually build that, but also talk to you about where to, some of the how to actually go and find that market and actually get them there as well. So it's not just about the page, as I'm sure you're getting if you've tried this already. All right, so let's talk about this thing called I call the 5 Ps. These are the 5 Ps to creating a really, really powerful opt-in style structure. Now, these are the 5 elements to that. It doesn't mean you need to use all 5 all the time, because if you have very strong email copy, then this can be far less intensive. And if you have already a really strong relationship with the people coming through, then you don't need it all. This is the essentials, or these are the essentials to having a page where you're having relatively cold traffic coming through. So the first one I talk about is this thing called promote the promise. And the promise is essentially what is the promise of what you're promoting. Is it and promote the promise being, what's the promise to your end person? What is it that you're giving them? What is it that they're going to get that's going to really dial into potentially an emotional hook or something like that? So promote the promise. This is where you're clear on, let's say it's an event. Number one, the first part of the promote the promise is live event in Perth, etc., etc. Learn the 10 most powerful marketing strategies in 2016, if that was your promise. Yeah, so that's promote the promise. It's the big promise right up front. Many people will do that in a headline, and then a sub-headline, and then the most powerful ones I see then is supported by a video. So you're standing up there and you're talking about the promise that you're looking to deliver. Yep. So promote the promise. And the next one is actually painting the picture for them. So what can this do for them? This is all the what's in it for you stuff, and really getting clear on that. So the number one thing for you here is to understand who your client is and who your client's not. In fact, a great way to understand who they are is actually then detailing who they're not, because then you have perspective. So painting the picture is all about talking to your exact audience. Who is your audience? Who are they? What are they talking about at the dinner table? What is the conversation they had last night? Is it an entrepreneur? Is he going, oh, if I could only have, get 3 or 4 more sales this month? Or is it somebody who's in bad health and they're going, if only I could find a way of recovering faster, or whatever it is? Whoever you're talking to, paint the picture to that person based on the conversation they're having either internally or they're having at the dinner table, or it's that constant question that they got for themselves, which is how they get themselves from where they are today to where they want to go. So paint the picture of what the possibility is here. And the paint the picture is like any picture, it's the end beautiful looking picture, which is this is what you want. Yeah, so paint the picture. And you can do that inside of that video as well. I like to do as well as the picture is in the paint of the picture is I also like to give a little bit more detail. So this is where you've got the benefits mixed in with all the features as well. So these are the features, and this is why those features are important to you, etc., etc. So where this would be very, very good for you is where you've used that process that I gave you in, I think it was the very first video, which was write out the process of this is who I am, this is what I deliver, what's the benefit, because these are the specifics of how you've come to that, and then you've got two sets of this is what it means to you, and this is what it really means to you. When you go through that process, you're going to get pretty clear on how to actually present and paint a picture for somebody. The next one is to present the proof. So if you've worked with a number of other people already, or you've got a whole bunch of clients already, or whatever it might be, you present some proof around that. And it could be either proof of your own clients, or it could be proof from other people's clients who are doing what you're teaching. So you don't need to prove a certain strategy if that strategy already works somewhere else, because you're going to present or you're going to teach that specific thing, and everyone knows that it'll work, and this is why it works, because this is what these guys are doing and with that strategy, and this is how they creating the results that they're creating using this specific strategy, what it might be. So present the proof of that. Of course, the more powerful ones are going to obviously be your own testimonials. Video testimonials are fabulous if you can get some of those, but I'm pretty clear that it doesn't have to be video. It can quite easily be captions of those. The next one is then provide them the path. Now that they understand what the promise of the product is, they understand how it relates to them, they see how it's worked for others. Now they're going, well, what's my next step? So now provide them a path. What is their next step? And that can be either an opt-in, it could be buy now, it could be express your interest here, whatever it might be. Opt-in and get my free gift right now, or here's a $1 opt-in or whatever it is, and you get the next 2 weeks for free, and however you want to do that. There's a whole bunch of different ways. essentially give them a way to actually do that. And it could be as simple as click this link and email me back if you want to keep it real simple. So provide the path, and then the big one, if you're asking for a bit more from them, if you're asking for more than just a basic opt-in, which is put your name and details in here, your name and email, and we'll promise that we won't sell your email list off to anybody else. This whole idea around protect the purchase or protect your prospect is essentially the last part of it. Make sure that they feel totally comfortable giving you their details, or they feel totally comfortable making the purchase. In other words, they know they're going to get 100% money back guarantee or whatever it might be. So even if it weren't to work for them, you've already covered that off, and they go, okay, great, I'll take the risk because I know that I could get their money back if I were to do that. If it was about the money for them, you just take that right off the table by protecting their purchase. Is everyone okay with that? Just give me a yes in there, or if there's any questions around that, then this is a great time to throw some questions in. I'm kind of looking just over here because I've got my Q&A here, so I'm just watching that all the time. All right, good, yes, perfect, okay. You're welcome to ask questions as we go through. I am watching it, as I say, so we can keep that all moving quite nicely and integrate that into the conversation. All right, let's have a look at some of the aspects of what that looks like. And I'm going to do that over here. Hold on a second. I've actually just got a little munchkin come in and say hello. Because somebody's home from school. You can pop out and ask Mummy if you can get them. It's just in the back. Say hi, everybody. Because I've got a little webinar going on, and I'm going to keep going, okay? All right, off you go. All right. Thank you for your patience on that. All right. I have a question from Sandy. I have an online product in PDF form. I've not given a guarantee because once it's downloaded, they have it for life. And they can copy it and distribute all that. And so then they know how to handle this. Okay. So this is a great question, Sandy, and thank you for bringing that up. So this is a question around what happens when we've got a product that we're giving them, which when that once they've bought it, they've got it for life. We can't actually get that back. So the way that I'd answer that is from a place of total abundance, and I do this with some of my biggest clients as well, who have very high level programs where they're giving a massive amount of IP out as part of their purchase. And if you come from this place of total abundance and you go, you know what, if this doesn't work for you, then that's okay, keep it. No problem. We have some copyright stuff in there that says, please don't copy it and please don't distribute it. And I totally trust that that's going to be the case, and I totally believe that you are the type of person that I'd feel comfortable working with and engaging with, etc. So, as part of my gift to you and as part of my commitment to you is, if you come back within the next 30 days and say this is not work for me, then my gift to you is that you keep the product anyway. And I totally trust that, obviously if it hasn't worked, then why would you ever use it anymore anyway? So, yeah, what's a reasonable guarantee? Depends on what it is, I guess. I'll give you some examples of guarantees. I was working with an educator in Australia about 6 years ago, and he had an event that he used to run, which was a whole 7-day event, and his guarantee was, if you got to the end of day 3, or day 4, and basically when you got like a big part of that, if you got to the end of one of those days and you said, put your hand up, you know what, I just want to let you know, and I just want to say that I don't know if this is valuable. That's cool. We'll sit down and have a conversation about it, and I'll give you 100% of your money back, less my hard costs. And my hard costs might be, your accommodation and your food and whatever else for those 5 days. But all of your money back, and you get to keep all of the handouts that they're giving you. You can go home and you can keep that and whatever else. So that was his one, and he knew that obviously those handouts are hugely valuable because that's the manual and everything else. And that's great. And so he had a little bit of an overhead cost that he threw in. I've had a client. Well, I have one of my clients, and actually ex-business partner who I've spoken about before, Paul Dunn, who says to me constantly, John, just give them all their money back, and know that if you are clear that you have a product that is of high value and produces great results for the majority of people, then you shouldn't have a problem with just giving that 100% guarantee. His experience is that less than 3% of people ever ask for their money back. And I'll talk about stuff like like events and stuff like that where you're paying $30, $40, $50, $100. We'll give you 100% of your money back. People, even if they come out of those 3 days and went, didn't really get much value for it, there's only a small percentage of those who will ever ask for their money back anyway. Because we're busy and we kind of move on. Somebody has to go. All good. Thanks, Patricia. Hopefully that's been of value. Let's see, Sandy. That makes sense. Clearly, people that buy this product have to put hard yards to get the results. Anyway, yeah. Oh, totally. That's all. Basically, everything that you're talking about from the perspective of their commitment is how you build up who you want to play with, and being so clear on your target avatar and target person, and the kind of person they would be. What would their values be? What, where would they come from? Would they come from a place of abundance, or a place of negativity and lack and everything else? So if we're focused on finding those people, then we may find some people, a few more people of those people, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff and not pay for it. But my experience is, no matter who you get and whoever comes through, human people are generally good, and they understand that this doesn't work for everybody. They understand they got to put the hard yards in. They understand that it may, they may have other stuff that they're dealing with that stops them from even achieving what they want to achieve with your specific product or your system or whatever else. So yeah, I would say just get clearer on the person that you really want, and all your language and everything that you have on your promotion page, be very clear on how, who that person is, what they would be looking for, and why they would be attracted to you. Because then that's going to be the person who actually says, yes, I actually want to buy that. All the people who are on the other side of that will probably go, yeah, no, not for me, and they'll move on. So yeah, it's more about how you get them in, and what you say to them, and how that kind of connects with your values and their values, that gets the right people in the first place. That allows me to be able to stand here and go, give them a confident guarantee, give them the money back. When it comes to programs, I have a slightly different way of doing my ones, because mine are more around going through a process, understanding some fundamentals, and then putting that into place, and actually rolling out a campaign that's highly profitable. So my guarantee is, if you've come through the program with me over these X amount of weeks, depending on the program you're doing with me, and we haven't actually achieved the result that you're looking to achieve, then don't worry about it. Just come to the next program and do it again until you do. Because people actually want the result. They don't want their money back. They actually just want the result. I just want to get that result. If I can get that result, then I'm in, I'm doing it, and I'm there. And if it takes me 2 goes, because maybe I wasn't smart enough at the time, I'm a slow learner, or I didn't have the team in place to actually support me, or I just wasn't ready. I had too much stuff on my own plate, and whatever it might be. You know, everyone's dealing with their own stuff. So my guarantees around those programs are, don't worry, just come to our next program and reset it. And you do that for free, no problem. Because I know that, you know, if they don't get it the first time, they'll get it the second time. If they don't get it the second time, they'll do it the third time. I've never had anyone do it 3 times, by the way. But I have had people do it sort of twice. So hopefully that works great. Thanks, Sandy. Hopefully that was valuable to everybody as well. I know that it is, because it's definitely, I had a lot of resistance when I first kind of came up. I just got an idea of this concept of confident guarantees that basically took all of the question out of it for my clients. I got hesitant. I got really worried. What if a lot of people ask for their money back? Oh. Well, the answer to it is that very, very few do. And I've, you know, I can't even remember. Well, you know, I don't even know if I've had anyone ask for their money back. I've had some people, you know, go, hey, I don't know if this is working for me right now. Could I stop and I could do something else? And I've changed and stopped. I've offered people their money back when I've gone, you know what, you're not my client. Here's your money back. So you know, that's helped me get clear as well. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to take us into looking at some examples. But before I do that, I'm going to talk to you a bit about formatting. Great, I'm glad I had this thing here because it reminds me of what I'm going to talk about. Okay, so formatting. Appropriate use of formatting. You will see landing page, you'll see emails, you'll see a whole bunch of different things where people just don't have a concept of what really is useful and appropriate. My strategy on all of this is less is more. The more simple you keep it, the more consistent you keep it, the easier it is for people to read, the easier it is for them to take in the information. And you use things like bolding and italics and maybe some centering to move the eye and to bring a little bit more highlighting to certain aspects. So I'll give an example, a few examples. When I look at if I'm building a relatively long page, and I want people to be able to quickly screen across that, or basically quick read it, and what I'll do is I'll look for words that are bold so that I actually get a bit of an understanding and I can actually make sense of that entire page rather than scanning and finding their own words. I put up the bold ones and I'll put some centered text and some bullet points where I know the eye will move on to. And that way the skimmers as well as those who read the whole thing actually get enough of the content to be able to make a decision on what they're going to do. So I'll use that. I definitely don't overuse it. I don't like using a lot of different colors. I will pick 1 or maybe 2 different colors in a page, and I definitely don't like to mix fonts. I will only ever use potentially 2, and one will be a bolding font like an impact or something like that to bring something out. And then I'll be consistent in the way that I use that specific type of heading and that specific kind of font. Of course, this other one, which is called shouting. People don't like to be shouted at. Don't use a lot of shouting. Certainly, I avoid doing like a paragraph of capitalized text. It's overbearing. People don't respond well to that. Using of your background colors, your foreground colors, and heavy borders, all of that kind of leads to a heaviness about your page, and when it's challenging for somebody to read, they will jump off your page and they'll move on. They'll go into something else. You have only a few seconds to capture someone's attention and then keep them there. So make sure that everything else gets out the way of you creating the opportunity for them to actually get the information they would like to get, and for them to make a decision on actually either joining you or not, rather than going, this is overwhelming, I can't read that, the text is too small, the text is too vague and not great, it might be. So keeping it really simple. So let's give you some examples of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to just stop sharing for a moment because I need to jump onto another shared screen, and that is over here. that's there. All right, I'm going to start over here with this one and talk about a traditional sales page. So this one here is essentially our a page that's going to sell product. So, you know, if you've got a page where you're selling a specific kind of product, this one here is a protein powder by My Essence, fabulous product. Their target market, as you can tell, is raw organic, people who are interested in raw organic. They're looking for complete proteins. You know, there might be vegans, vegetarians, and stuff like that. This is essentially a layout that kind of fits all of those different things. It's painting the picture. You know, it's promoting the promise. It's painting the picture of then how that actually works for you, and you know, it gets very well painted in the video over here. It keeps on painting the picture over here of why you'd want to use it. And again, so there's lots of painting the picture here and the promise of what that is. It then has some testimonials over here. So, you know, some little rollover ones over there. So you can kind of see all these amazing people who use it. It's got some cool stuff, little giveaways and bonuses in there to make it a little bit more exciting. It then gives them a path to go and actually purchase that. And what it does here, it actually adds some additional value to that. So it really gives people, you know, this is the irresistible offer side of it. You know, you can just buy the one, or you can buy two. We're going to throw the bottle in and everything else. So it builds up the path. And makes it really easy for them to decide on doing that. And there it protects the promise, 100% guaranteed. Any reason you're dissatisfied with the purchase, simply return it. There's rid of packaging within 30 days, etc., etc. So there's an example of how a page like that works, and of course it then goes on and actually does a little bit more, some more painting the picture. There's some more testimonials, and then the second option over there. So if people have kind of put all the way down to the bottom, it just gives a little bit more for the people who want more detail. This here works best if you know that your target market who's showing up over here already knows who your company is, because you don't have to build all the rapport up about the company and all that type of thing. So I would suggest if you were building something like this, I would not be going out and doing an advertising campaign and drawing new people into this. I'd be going to existing market and saying to existing market is our new product, etc., etc. And this is a great way of you guys, being able to utilize more of our products and be more healthy, etc., etc. Because that's going to give you the best result of that. And of course, if you're going to a slightly wider market, you're going to a market of people who exactly who they are, and they've been highly recommended. So you're going out to a network of people who have an audience that is interested in raw organic. They might be vegans or vegetarians, stuff like that, because they're going to be able to link to that, and they're already a trusted source. So again, you're not building up the brand and saying, hey, this is a specific brand, and this is why you would want to buy this brand, etc. And this is why you want to work with these guys, because that's how you'd have to do it if you were going out to a brand new market, is actually really build up a whole bunch of rapport and that with people before trying to pitch them a product to buy straight off. So that kind of brings you all those elements in there. I'll show you something that is a bit more specific to a strategy. And in the beginning of the call today, I said I'm going to be showing you some of the strategies that we use. This is the strategy that we've used hugely effectively in the last 4.5 years. And this is a competition model that we run. And this basically is the layout of that. Again, you're promoting the promise. Here's the promise of it, $1 million freedom business giveaway. Great. Enter that one right there. Then we paint the picture. We want a freedom business built for you. I'm going to build that, and this is what you're going to win. building up that picture again. Still, this is what it is. You're going to get all that return air flights and all that type of thing, and then it continues over there. It talks about the promise and why this is going to work. This is going to be a great thing for them to be doing, and then a little bit more detail. So this is, again, we're looking at what are the specifics of what you're going to get. You're going to get position, you're going to get how to package, and you're going to know how to promote your program. And this one here, we actually move this around. So even though those 5 elements are great in that specific order, you'll notice that in this one here, I've moved the order around, and I've actually put the testimonials below the path, within the path, because essentially this is a low, it's a high, perceived high value, and it's a really exciting thing for people to get involved in. So you can give them opportunity to get involved in it and get into it sooner, and they'll look down there, if they need more information, if they want to read a bit more and find out what are the tests, is this going to work? This specific one went out to a few markets, but pretty much all the markets knew who this guy was, Chris Duncan. So again, we're not there educating them about him, and we're not even educating them about the program. That a lot of people would have heard of the program who came onto this page. So you can push this up higher and higher all the time, because it's even though we're asking for quite a bit of information, it's a highly desirable type of product to a specific market. So that one, we ran that last year sometime, which was really, really cool. This one over here is one that we're running right now. It's actually in play. If you go to paidtopodcast.com, you'll be able to pop in there and actually potentially win their first prize. This is Louise and Kamala, really awesome people out of the US who have built extraordinary podcasts and such a huge following. And their gift is to this whole thing is they show people now how to not only find and get the right kind of speakers in, and Louise is just a master at that. He actually, he has a process and a way of being able to get the biggest people on our planet on your podcast, and he does it consistently. The biggest brands out there, and of course he knows the steps and the strategy on how to run that podcast really, really well, and he's done that multiple times over just the last couple of years. And Louise has been working, they're partners in this. Louise Kamala is really great at being able to look at your podcast and look at your business and then put together a profitable center that actually has you getting paid for podcasting that you do, and utilizing the value that you build in that podcast. So, by the by, so have a look at the structure of the page. Again, we've got a big banner there. What is it? It's this is the promise of this page. We understand it's a competition. We can win a fully paid scholarship. Great. And that's going to be, allow me to become the most trusted voice in the industry, building lasting connections, and produce masses of super valuable content at the same time, or as a result of that. They can enter that. It's a 12-week coaching mastermind. Fantastic. Launch and monetize your podcast fast. There's Marla talking about it. Get paid. So there's a little bit more of the detail of painting the picture, a little bit more, and imagine if you could do all that. And then plus second prize gets this. So again, we're still going through what's in it for them. And then, the first and the second prize. And over here again, we put the registration page, which is provide path, just above where we put all of our testimonials. And again, those two have worked. In this case, because I want to get people to the registration part quicker, it works better in this specific campaign format. to do that. And he's got some sponsors and all sorts of things to create credibility around him and all of those testimonials of people that he's, some of the people that he's interviewed, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then there's terms and conditions and privacy policy. That's kind of protecting the purchase or protecting your information, so you feel comfortable with that. Let me just have a look to see if there's anyone there with any question. Perfect. Okay, no question. As we're going through, just to welcome again, just pop any questions in there. So here's another one we've been doing, and I'm just giving a few examples of this. This one here is my good friend Tada Tolman, who lives here in Bali as well, and we do these competitions to Tada's or for Tada to his own audience, and we do this quite often off the back of his tours, so that we can connect in with the people who have just experienced him on stage or whatever it might be, and we give them the opportunity to be able to win something else that may not have been offered on the tour, or be able to at least get into a conversation with somebody to actually get what they really wanted from the event as well. So again, this one here, it's really clear. It's spread the love from the Housewife tour. This was they've just come off the tour a few weeks prior. Again, enter the competition. There's Tyler talking about it. This is what you're going to get, very simply, and those are the prizes, and enter. And here's a whole bunch of well, there's some terms and conditions of entering and stuff like that, and then some testimonials, etc., and privacy policies and all those things to make sure that you feel safe about who you're giving them information to. So that kind of gives you an idea of some of these competitions. And all of these competitions I've showed you, by the way, all of these generated in excess of 250, 300 leads active inside of this campaign that we were able to then interact with and enroll and have people joining various programs for all of those people that you've seen already. So this is a very, very powerful mechanism to do that too. And then this one over here that you'll be absolutely very familiar with, because this is the way that you guys came here. And this is our competition gift model, where we go out and we partner with a whole bunch of people that we know and love and trust already in the industry, are doing some amazing stuff. I know every one of these people personally. We've been doing business with most of them for a long time. Other than them, just recently, they all are really, really great at what they do. And I spoke to them. I said, hey, let's do a joint competition where we give away a bunch of stuff. You guys give away first and a second prize, and I'll do that as well. So this one here, I don't need to show you this because this is how you ended up being on this call, because you ended up winning the second prize over here with me for the Goosebump Marketing series. So this one here is really powerful for us, because it means that I've been able to go out and use a really simple a very simple process, and I didn't have to really think about how would I find my audience, and how much money I'm going to spend on advertising, and is the page going to convert, and all that type of thing. I went out to a bunch of people who I knew had the same target market as me, and said, hey, I'm going to go out to my people, who's your target market, you go out to your people, and let's collaboratively work together. And then, we're going to give a whole bunch of amazing first prizes together. We're going to give a whole bunch of second prizes away together, and we're going to read all those applications, and we're going to decide on who's going to get those prizes. And from that, you're going to actually have a whole bunch of people that may be your perfect client, and you might be that perfect person, service provider, whatever else that they're looking for as well. So this is a really, really powerful way of doing that. I got Sandy. Cool. And saying what you're saying is that your application, which was read by all of us, got you a second prize with Greg as well, and it's because the team that read all those applications, they read them to find who's actually really committed to actually doing something and actually building a business, and who's willing to actually to let us know about that. There's a whole bunch of people who didn't make second prize with me because I read the application when they were terrible. These are not the people I even want, and I just put those straight out, and the same as what Greg would have done. But there's a certain character and a certain kind of person that we're wanting to acknowledge and actually have come through and give a whole bunch of value to as well. So does that make sense? Cool, thanks. All right. So does that give you a little bit of an idea on structure, on some examples of pages? Now, again, this page over here, we had close on 500 people register for this within a couple of weeks. Let me quickly put that out to everyone who's on call right now. Who here has run a campaign where it didn't cost you more than a few $100s to run and had 300, 400, 500 people come through into your campaign? Has anyone done that before? No? Who here who's run a campaign who's had 10, 20, 50 people come through that campaign? It doesn't matter what price it is. So has anyone actually run a campaign actually got a bunch of people through within, let's say, a month? Okay, cool. So very few of us, which is great. Which kind of again it talks about the value of finding some strategies that are going to really work for you. So I want to do this with you because we're just about at the end of this now, and I want to invite you for something else if this is exciting for you. So next steps. Would you like to find out how you can build an audience and a partner network quite effortlessly? Would you love to learn the natural flow of a nurture sequence on how do we actually nurture people through this? Feel how easy it is to make a no-brainer offer. Like, what could that look like that people just go, yes, I absolutely would love to be part of this. We'd love to discover a way of marketing that has your prospects eagerly awaiting your call. So they're sitting at the phone, there's an appointment set or what it might be, waiting for you to call them. And that'll have you, develop a mindset or shift your mindset around how easy it can be at selling your high ticket value programs, if you even have them, or selling any of your own product. If that is a resounding yes for you, then let me know, because I want to enroll, or I want to offer you an option on one more potential webinar that I'm going to run in this. So one bonus for anybody who'd like to join us for that. So if that's a yes for you, then stick around, and I'm going to go on to this page over here, which talks about our next bonus webinar, which is going to be next week, Wednesday, the 10th of February at 6 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m. on Perth time. And I'm going to talk to you quite specifically around how to attract your target audience using a very specific strategy, have them sign up for your high-end programs, whilst making a 5 to 6 figures through that online competition. So if you'd like to kind of work out how that could work for you, and given that you've come through a part of that process, you kind of get a sense of how this could work. I'd love to show you, where this can be, where this could actually work for you. At what level could you be playing this game where you could be doing this on a regular basis, be it on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, half-yearly basis. One of my clients, in fact, my very first client that I worked with on this specific strategy now uses it multiple times a year, a minimum of 6 times a year, and generates about 30 to 40% of their business just through this strategy. and they're a multi-million dollar business already. So so you can imagine just utilizing all of the fundamentals that we've spoken about over the last few weeks, and actually then dialing that into one specific strategy that is a pretty well developed and high returning a result for effort strategy. I'm going to be talking about that next week. So that's your invitation. I'd love to see you on the call next week. I'll put an email out, and I'll make sure that that you have a reminder for that. Again, I want to thank you for your time on the call today. I didn't have anyone pop their hand up other than Sandy. Thank you for asking the questions that you did around those offers. I would have loved to have seen some other people's websites and give you some feedback on that. But that's great. Hopefully you've got great value out of the conversation today. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you on our bonus webinar next week, where I really kind of unveil the work that we've done for the last 4.5 years for a number of amazing clients, and how we can generate a solid part of your business in one strategy, which has been very, very effective. And that's it for me. Congratulations for showing up again, and thank you for your interaction and your input. I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, have a magical week ahead and weekend, and I'll see you next week.